Hey people, welcome back. This is going to be part 2 of the workflow video. And as we did in the last video, we have Melinda all prepped and ready to go so we can begin retouching. In the last video, we removed blemishes, which you can see here. And we did that by using our spot healing brush over here. So we've already done that and we're ready to go. Now what I can do is visually kind of separate the face into sections so I can actually tell which areas I want to emphasize what amount of smoothing to apply. And all I did was just drag ruler lines from the top to the bottom. So this will visually let you see a good way to cut the face up into 3 areas. Okay, so my next step is to apply frequency separation. I went over this method in my first video. You can see that on my YouTube channel. So after that, I check to make sure which mode this image is in. It's a 16-bit channel image, RGB. So I use the same method to apply that over here. So to hit play. These are pretty self-explanatory. And now the image is separated by channel. So I'm going to go to the frequency separation LF layer first. Hide these guidelines by pressing Command key and semicolon. Use my lasso tool and start to zero in on areas where the light and darks are meeting up so we can smooth those transitions out on the skin tone. You press the Q key to check your feathering. And you want to feather because you don't want this to be a hard, rough edge. You want this to be a smooth transition between this side of it to that side of it, so it kind of fades away into there, making it look more natural. And you can adjust your feathering right here. I usually keep mine between 20 and 19. Okay, and now we're going to apply Gaussian blur. Once again, I'm telling you that working with a pen tablet makes this a lot easier to zero in on the very areas you want to work on. But if you prefer a mouse, that's fine. Same destination. And I'm mainly concerned with areas that jump from light to dark. I want to smooth those out. But Miss Berry has great skin, as I said in the first video. She's a wonderful model, actually. So see how this area jumps here? I want to zoom in on that as well. If this looks harsh, it's because I'm applying it for the first time and I haven't drawn it back yet. So don't panic if you're doing this and it looks weird. It will smooth out. You can go over the lines of these borders because you use that feather, so it won't hurt anything, so to speak. Even if you go over here and follow those, you'll still maintain a great amount of control. Okay, you can zoom back. I'm holding down Command and pressing plus or minus to zoom back. And forth, sorry. Okay. And just take your time. There's no need to rush this process. Like I said, your main concern is the transitions between lights and darks on the skin. Okay. Now it looks pretty good. I have a great amount of the photo covered with the blur. So what we do now, we go here, because these are all in the same group, I can minimize that. And then we start to draw it back. I usually stay between 55 and 60, but it would depend on the photo and how much you want to apply. It's your discretion. I don't know what your shot looks like, so I can't just tell you automatically do 60 every time. It's not an action. It's not something you're going to do the same every time. You may not want to do this method at all in some photos. Like, I'm not going to do this to an infant, but like I said, she's not going to need much because she really has great skin already. So I'll probably keep her at about 55 or 50. Okay. Zoom in and see how that looks. You can also go to the top and see the difference between the original and right here. I'm a big fan of taking snapshots. What snapshots do is that they literally take a snapshot of where you are in a retouch or in your editing. So I'll name this smooth. So no matter what I do after this point in the snapshot, I say I magically messed up and painted blue, red, or whatever all over her face, or got distracted and did something silly like this, I can always go back to here, which is the snapshot, and I'll bring right back to that point. So if you're having difficulties with one aspect of a photo, you can always go back to that snapshot. It's a good thing to do, even though CC automatically saves. It's a good thing to do to kind of bookmark where you are. Remove these lines here in the photo. We're going to use the patch tool. What the patch tool does, it allows you to grab something you don't want, a line or blemish or what have you, and then move that to an area that is smoother than what you're trying to get rid of. The shortcut for that is J, and we're on the HF layer. And like I said, take your time with this. Now that looks better, but it's not exactly smooth around that area. So what we're going to do, we're going to select all of our layers and collapse them by hitting the Command key and pressing E. And then we're going to run the frequency separation one more time. I'm going to go back down to the other layer. Use our lasso tool again. And just select those areas that we were just working on, like so. I'm going to apply Gaussian blur again. You have to go through it again because right now it's set to 5 or 6 or whatever. Use your discretion as to where you want it at. I'll go about 16. Just to blend that transition out. Boom. You can hit Command F again to run it a second time. So if I happen to go all the way up to the top of the program, and then once again, go back to the regroup the title for the group and just draw it back. Now that looks much better and much more uniform than it did before. And you still see pores within the skin. So don't be afraid to go over area once more. Sometimes it's not always a one and done situation. I don't mind leaving a bit of pores on the skin because I want them to look realistic. I don't want mannequins. So I'll collapse these and then combine them and make a new layer. If you want to learn how to move quickly in Photoshop, I definitely recommend getting used to shortcuts. Shortcuts will save you a tremendous amount of time. Just removing small blemishes from here. And just because it's the method I'm going over with you, doesn't mean you have to do the same method all the time. You can skip steps. You can go right to the lips. You can go right to the eyes. You can do whatever you want to achieve your desired results. Okay. So we're going to stop here. So we've removed all the blemishes and we've evened out the tonal value of her face. I didn't do the paint the skin thing this time because she has pretty smooth and great transitions in her skin tone. There's nothing jumping out too crazy in this photo. So we'll stop here and then we'll pick up and I'll start going over features such as the eyes and the lips and how to bring the highlights in the hair. So thanks for watching and I'll see you on part 3.